Okay, so hello everybody and welcome back to another video. Now, in today's video we're going to be doing what if Naruto had time warp, or what if Naruto could warp time. I don't know what I put on the title and thumbnail, but basically same thing. Now, if you are new to this channel, please like and subscribe because I'm trying to get to 1,000 subscribers by the end of the year. And yeah, with that, let's get right into the video. Now, we start this what if off on the day of the Nine Tails attack. And so, this is going to be right after Obito tried to steal Naruto, got destroyed by Minato, and now it's back to the Nine Tails. Now, the Nine Tails would of course try to stab or pierce, claw Naruto, but Kushina and Minato would throw themselves in the way, trying to block the attack. Now, Naruto seeing this as a baby is like, no, even though he's just a baby and can't understand anything, he still understands that Minato and Kushina are his parents. And so, he's just looking at them as they get stabbed through the stomach with the thingy, the claw, right? I'm sorry, I can't speak today. And then Minato, in his last moments alive, ends up sealing the Nine Tails within Naruto using the Reaper Death Seal. And then seeing Minato drop to the ground dead, and Kushina on the ground as well, bleeding to death. Naruto starts to cry and cry, as even with his puny little baby mind, he can think, no, my parents, they're dead, as the realization hits him, and suddenly his eyes open wide as they're glowing this whitish, grayish color, and it's almost like the Byakugan, but like it's this really pale eye, as the people around Naruto, who are just looking what's going on, are shocked, looking at what eye this baby Naruto has. But before they could get any closer, Naruto started emitting a crazy aura as he slowly lifted his hand up and just pointed his hand at the area where his parents were lying, and suddenly they started to rewind, and as he continued to do this, his parents just went back in time slowly until it was right before the Nine Tails was about to strike Naruto. But this time the Nine Tails wasn't there because Minato had just sealed the Nine Tails within Naruto, and Minato would just stop being like, wait, but I just died, and he would look at the baby Naruto, who now of this crazy exhaustion has just passed out, as he would say, Naruto? Was that Naruto? As he thinks about what just happened and looks at Kushina and then himself, being like, wow, we're alive. It's almost like he sent us back through time. But he seems to be able to control this power. Since he only applied it to us, we went back through time, but the Nine Tails didn't go back through time. So the Nine Tails is still sealed within Naruto and me, because he split in half, right? And he's just thinking like, wow, this is OP. He can literally, if Naruto learns to control his power, he can abuse the Reaper Death Seal just by using it and then having Naruto reverse it, and this way he's just like kind of like can kill anyone but can't die, you know. But anyways, we move on, and we have a pretty long time skip, all the way until the age where Naruto was going to his first year at the academy. Now, you guys might be like, wait, but that's a lot of like that's 8-10 years that you just skipped. And I'll explain what happened in these years. Now, since Minato and Kushina are alive, Minato stays as the Hokage, and Kushina is also alive. Now, because of this, Minato having like more than 2 brain cells, manages to, like remove Danzo from his position, because everybody knows he's up to no good. So, Danzo's not there anymore, and without Danzo, nobody can, say that Naruto has the Nine Tails within him. And not only that, but since Naruto is the son of the 4th Hokage, and everybody knows this, everybody actually likes Naruto. Now, another thing about Naruto is, over this time, Minato has always trained Naruto, and so is Kakashi, and they have taught him a lot of things from before, by the time he started going to the academy, he was already maybe low tuning level or something like that, because Minato in this time would have taught him the Flying Raijin, and a bunch of other jutsus, basic knowledge, studying. And so Naruto's a prodigy. Remember that Naruto is an incredible prodigy, if it wasn't for the fact that the Nine Tails was messing with him all the time. And since Minato can help him control the Nine Tails, and he's training a lot anyways, I bet he can master a bunch of jutsu. So Naruto has the Flying Raijin, although he can only use one Flying Raijin mark at a time. So he can't just go full Minato mode and scatter a bunch of Flying Raijins across the entire area, like Flying Raijin marks, and then just teleport between them. Not yet, at least, because he will be able to. But yeah, now this is when Naruto heads off to the academy, and unlike in the original version of Naruto, people actually like him, and the girls in the academy are fangirling over Naruto as much as they are over Sasuke. And possibly they're fangirling over Naruto even more than Sasuke. Now, speaking of Sasuke, we come to the next big thing that the survival of Minato changed. Now, because Minato, knows what happened, and, Danzo and Hiruzen aren't in power as Hokage and Shadow Kage, and just generally because Minato is alive still, the whole thing with the Uchiha massacre never happened. So, Itachi never decided to kill his clan and go join the Akatsuki. And this means that Sasuke isn't actually emo, and since Minato and Fugaku are friends, Naruto and Sasuke know each other pretty well. Like they're pretty good friends, right? So yeah. Now, on the first day of school, Iruka decides that, since it's the first day of school, he wants to have a small little test, sort of assessment, to see what level everyone is at. Now, first, it's the written exam. Now, Naruto, although isn't a big genius, he's actually, decently smart. So he does, pretty average on his test. Now, the written exam isn't where Naruto shines, though. First, we have the shuriken and kunai throwing. And now, since Naruto knows the Flying Raijin, he already has a lot of kunai training, and except for that, he also already, Minato already makes him do a bunch of, kunai and shuriken training. So Naruto ties with Sasuke, getting a 9 out of 10, and Sasuke and Naruto already have this sort of rivalry. So, after this, they head off to the next part of the exam, the endurance exam, as they make them run laps around the entire schoolyard area to see who can run the most laps. Now, in this one, Naruto and Sasuke once again tie at first place. And this kind of annoys the both of them. They keep tying at everything, and since they're kind of really competitive with each other, they want to find the clear winner, which is why that wish comes true in the final part of this, little not exam, but this assessment of learning, an assessment for learning. It doesn't matter. And this is going to be the sparring. Now, this is when we have this fight between Sasuke and Naruto. They both head to their corners of the circle, and they start. Right off the bat, they both rush in using taijutsu to fight each other. Now, off the bat, Iruka can tell that these two are already way beyond Genin level when it comes to taijutsu skills, and they seem actually pretty experienced with taijutsu, as you can see both of them, fighting it out, blocking, jabbing, uppercut. Sasuke does a spinning tornado kick, and then Naruto blocks it, ducks under, grabs his ankle, twists him around, and punches him in the stomach. But Sasuke does a backflip, landing back on his feet, and this is when he starts weaving hand signs and says, "Fireball Jutsu." And when he says this, a huge fireball just comes out of his mouth, as Naruto also starts weaving hand signs and says, "Water style." What is a huge wave? I literally made that jutsu up, but I do that all the time. I'm not even gonna say when I make jutsu up. You guys, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Just deal with it. If that isn't a real jutsu, too bad. But Naruto says, water style, huge wave, as the wave and the fireball clashes, with none of them exactly prevailing. Now, after that, Sasuke comes in throwing a bunch of shuriken and kunai at Naruto, but Naruto blocks with a mud wall. And while he was creating this mud wall, he threw his flying Raijin kunai up into the sky, and he jumped out of the mud wall without going to his flying Raijin mark quite yet, as he jumped up and said, started weaving hand signs that said, lightning style, lightning bolt, as a quick but generally effective zap of lightning just came down at Sasuke's direction, as Sasuke was barely able to dodge, although he got hit in the leg. Then, the flying Raijin mark landed right behind Sasuke, as Naruto immediately teleported to it, catching it and holding it to Sasuke's neck, saying, "Good fight. But this time, I won." And Sasuke struggles to get out, but says, "Yeah, you did. Good fight." As, Naruto puts his kunai into his pocket, and they do the sparring symbol that they always do at it's kind of like the equivalent of a good game handshake, but for shinobi when they spar. And Iruka is watching this battle, what on earth just happened? Because these two people who are literally barely now academy students on their first day are already around tuning level, right? Which really surprised Iruka for a moment, but then he's like, he is the son of the fourth Hokage, and the other one is a talented Uchiha, little brother of Itachi himself. And, he's just like, yeah, makes sense. And after that, Naruto barely beats Sasuke overall in the score they got for their quick beginning of school year assessment, and then they go home. Now, this continues to happen for Naruto's almost entire time in the academy. None of the things that they seem to be doing really, Naruto never finds a lot of it challenging. Now, after he heads home, Minato says, well, it's your first day at the academy, and I feel like I want to introduce you to a couple people. Maybe they can train you. As he tells him to go find Shisui Uchiha, and also where to find them. So with that, Naruto goes over to Shisui's house and asks him if he could train him. And Shisui just looks at Naruto, recognizing him to be the son of the fourth Hokage, and says, yeah, sure, I can train you. And Naruto's like, yay, thanks. As, Shisui and Naruto go to an open area, as Shisui says, okay, well, let's just spar really quickly. I won't go my hardest, but just to see what level you're at right now. And Naruto's like, okay, but try not to hold back, okay? As Shisui's like, yeah, I won't. I'll push you to your absolute limit to see how much potential you truly have. As Naruto's like, finally, sounds like I'll have a challenge. And with that, Shisui immediately rushes in. Remember, no Sharingan activated. And Naruto is completely shocked at Shisui's speed. I mean, Shisui at this point is faster than, Naruto expected, but to be honest, he's kind of used to it, because he's sparred against people like Kakashi and his dad, Minato, who's like the fastest character in the series, so, he's used to fighting people with high speeds, as he knows that to fight speed, you mostly just have to play more passive-aggressive until you get an opening, and then you can strike. So as Shisui just rushes in, Naruto starts playing on defense, and immediately knows that he has to create some space between him and Shisui. So he creates a fireball jutsu, firing it straight at Shisui. Now Shisui is surprised at this, being like, oh wow, he knows the fireball jutsu. Actually, he's surprised, but like only at how good he does it, because he knows Naruto since he's Sasuke's friend, so he actually knows who Naruto is, and Naruto knows Shisui, but just not too much, right? Just they recognize each other, but they're not like friends, if you get what I mean. And yeah, so Naruto fires a fireball jutsu at him, as Shisui doesn't even need to block it, because he just dodges out of the way and comes straight at Naruto. Little does he know, Naruto shot a flying Raijin kunai inside of that fireball, as he teleports to the kunai and manages to create some distance, and then goes underground using I think it's called the head under jutsu, the one where you go underground and come up from underneath the person. And so Naruto tries that, but Shisui already knowing what's gonna happen, jumps up when he sees Naruto and throws a kunai down at him. And Naruto, who also expected that Shisui expected that he was going to be there, had already planted his flying Raijin kunai somewhere else, as he teleported to it, and then teleported to the kunai and used his lightning bolt jutsu, shooting it down at Shisui, but Shisui dodged it with nearly no trouble, as he ran from the other direction once again at Naruto. Now Naruto took out some kunai and some shuriken as he started throwing them at Shisui, but Shisui activated his Sharingan and easily dodged them, coming in with his sword and in covering his sword in a fire-style jutsu, as he used the body flicker to get behind Naruto before he could even react. And Naruto, seeing this, was just like, dang it, as he barely threw his kunai, flying Raijin kunai, up and behind Shisui as he teleported to it, catching it, as he stabbed down at Shisui as he poofed into smoke, and the real Shisui was right above Naruto. As Naruto saw it and realized that it was too late for him to react now. He said, dang it, if only I could just push him away, if he could go back. This is like, he's like, hoping that Shisui just doesn't cut him, as he instinctively puts out his hands to kind of like defend himself, and he's like, no, I can't lose to him. Come on. As suddenly he opens his eyes again, as his eyes are pale, and suddenly Shisui floats right back, like in the air, and goes basically kind of like, imagine watching a video in reverse, right? Shisui is like moving in reverse motion back to like where he was 10 seconds ago. And Naruto's like, what's that power? What did I do? And Shisui's just standing there satisfied, as he's like, finally, now you have unlocked your true power. As Naruto's like, wait, what? And Shisui's like, that is the power you used on the day of the Nine Tails attack, and that ability of yours saved your parents' lives. Naruto's like, wow, this is kind of cool. I didn't know I had this ability. And Shisui's like, I know because your parents told me that, like, he knows that. Shisui knows what happened because Minato told him, I guess. And, with that, Naruto's like, so what am I supposed to, how do I use this ability? And Shisui's like, how would I know? I mean, that's why you're here, isn't it? To train and get stronger. The reason I'm here is to help you hone down that ability and learn how to use it. But, I can only direct you in the path you're supposed to go. But you have to do the rest. Naruto nods, understanding it. He says, yeah, I get it. And with that, Naruto heads home, and, after that, every day, he comes back to Shisui as they train together, and also, Naruto also trains with Minato, because, why not? Minato can also train him, and so he just trains with them, honing down his time warp ability. Now, after that, it's finally the last day of the academy, and Naruto easily passes the graduation exam. I mean, what did you think? Naruto's not gonna pass? Well, Naruto is a prodigy, so when Iruka calls him up to do the shadow clone, Naruto goes up there and creates like 50 of them using the multi-shadow clone jutsu technique, the one that was in the sacred scroll of sealing. Now, if you guys are like, how on earth does Naruto know that? Because, well, Minato is the Hokage, scroll of sealing is in the Hokage's office, Naruto likes to learn, and, just saying, Naruto knows about the scroll, and he may have peeked inside the scroll and saw some of the jutsu inside it, but he just used the multi-shadow clone jutsu to create like 50 clones, and Iruka's like, yeah, you pass. And with that, he announces their teams, saying that Naruto, Sasuke, and Sakura are going to be on the same team with the Jonin Sensei of Kakashi Hatake. Now, this makes them happy because Sasuke and Naruto are friends, and they're like, yeah, we're on the same team. This is going to be so OP. Because it is. It makes absolutely no sense to make this team. It's not balanced at all. Just makes this team way stronger than every other team, but no, it happens. Anyways, with that, they end up waiting for Kakashi for like a really long time because Kakashi never comes on time. And after like 2 hours, Kakashi finally arrives. And Naruto's like, Kakashi, you finally arrived. Kakashi's like, Naruto, and Naruto like, save the excuse, Kakashi. Just, what are we gonna do? Kakashi's like, yeah, meet me up on the roof. We're gonna introduce ourselves. And with that, they all go up to the roof and they start introducing themselves. Sakura says everything she does in the original. Naruto says also something very similar, as he's like, I like ramen, I want to become the Hokage and the strongest ninja ever. And Kakashi, who knows Naruto, because Minato is Kakashi's sensei, and Kakashi and Naruto have obviously met. So he knows him, and he's like, yeah, you know what? He might actually become the strongest shinobi in the world. And after that, this is the one that changes the most. Sasuke does his introduction, but instead of his normal emo thing, since Itachi is still, in the village and hasn't killed his clan, he actually gives a very different goal, saying, I like training, and my goals are to become these. He literally says the same thing as Naruto. He's like, I want to become the strongest person in the world, or the Hokage, same thing. Actually, not the same thing. He just wants to become the Hokage and the strongest shinobi in the world. As Naruto and Sasuke stare at each other and then smirk, being like, yeah, I'm gonna become the Hokage. And Sasuke is like, no, I'm gonna become the Hokage. But anyways, after that, Kakashi is like, yeah, well, tomorrow you'll have to meet me at the training grounds at 7 a.m. sharp. And remember, don't eat anything, as he poofs into smoke. And before everybody can head off, Naruto's like, oh, by the way, don't arrive at 7 a.m. Arrive at like 9 a.m. because he's obviously going to be 2 hours late. And also, you can eat if you want. And also, tomorrow's test is going to be about teamwork. So just keep that in mind. And Naruto knows this because, Minato is the person who taught Kakashi the bell test, and Minato is Naruto's father, and Naruto knows both Minato and Kakashi. They both do the bell test, so he knows what Kakashi's going to do when he says, meet me on the training ground. And with that, the next day, he heads off to the training grounds to do the bell test. But that, guys, is where I'm going to have to end off this what if. I know in the poll you guys did vote for what if Naruto had perfect genetics, and I am gonna do that what if, but I just felt kind of bored because I literally just did what if Naruto had every Kekkei Genkai, which is literally basically the same thing, and I also did what if Naruto had every anime ability. So at this point, and I also did what if Naruto knew every jutsu. So at this point, doing what if Naruto had perfect genetics is literally this, like, not creative or original at all. So if I do that, that'll be at a later time. But yeah, hope you enjoyed the video. Please like and subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Goodbye.